Texas, 68 million years ago. Open floodplains stretch for miles under a tropical sun. Something moves across the ground. 16 feet tall, long neck extended, massive beak scanning the vegetation. It spots movement. A juvenile dinosaur the size of a dog freezes. Too late. The beak strikes downward like a spear, killing instantly. This wasn't a dinosaur. This was Quetzalcoatlus, the largest flying animal that ever existed, and it spent most of its time hunting on the ground like a terrestrial predator. But wingspan measurements from fossils in Big Bend National Park reveal something paleontologists didn't expect. Quetzalcoatlus reached 35 to 40 feet from wingtip to wingtip, the size of an F-16 fighter jet. Wings that large could glide for thousands of miles without a single flap. CT scans from 2021 show hollow bones and air sacs throughout its body, reducing weight to just 440 pounds, despite standing tall as a giraffe. This wasn't a bird. It was a flying giraffe that hunted like a stork. And that changed everything about how we understand pterosaur behavior. Because here's what makes this creature even more terrifying. Fossil trackways from Romania show Quetzalcoatlus walked on all fours using its wings like front legs, leaving footprints bigger than dinner plates. It could launch itself 10 feet into the air from a standing position using all four limbs. No running start needed, no cliffs required, just explosive leg power and a 40-foot wingspan catching air in one motion. That's not just a flying reptile. That's a terrestrial predator that could leave the ground whenever it wanted. Quetzalcoatlus stood 16 to 18 feet tall at the shoulder when walking on all fours. That's as tall as a giraffe, taller than most dinosaurs in its ecosystem. Its skull alone measured 10 feet from the back of the head to the tip of its massive beak, longer than a great white shark. The beak was toothless, but edged like a blade, designed to stab and grab prey in one motion. And here's what makes that beak even more deadly. It could open wide enough to swallow animals the size of wolves whole. Compare that to modern predatory birds. The largest eagles have 7-foot wingspans and hunt rabbits. Quetzalcoatlus had a 40-foot wingspan and hunted dinosaurs. Its legs measured 8 feet long, allowing it to wade through water like a heron, but strong enough to pin struggling prey to the ground. Walking speed estimates from trackway analysis suggest 5 to 8 miles per hour on land, faster than a human walking pace. Running prey couldn't escape something this tall taking 6-foot strides. But size wasn't what made Quetzalcoatlus unstoppable. It was the combination of terrestrial hunting and unlimited range. Fossil evidence from Texas, Montana, and Alberta shows Quetzalcoatlus lived across North America during the Late Cretaceous. That's a range of over 2,000 miles north to south. Modern birds migrate this distance seasonally, but they're small and need frequent stops. Quetzalcoatlus weighed 440 to 550 pounds and could glide for 10,000 miles without landing. Aerodynamic studies published in 2010 by Michael Habib at the University of Southern California used wing loading calculations to prove this range. It didn't need thermals. It didn't need to flap constantly. It just extended those 40-foot wings and rode air currents across continents. And its prey had nowhere to hide from something that could see them from miles away. Pterosaur skull anatomy shows massive eye sockets relative to brain size. That translates to exceptional eyesight, likely better than modern eagles, which can spot rabbits from 2 miles away. Quetzalcoatlus, flying at 1,000 feet, could scan dozens of square miles for movement. Injured dinosaurs, stranded fish in drying pools, nesting sites with vulnerable eggs. It saw everything from above, then landed to feed with zero competition from other flying predators. Talk about aerial surveillance with ground strike capability. But the fossil record reveals something even more disturbing about how it hunted. Trackways from the Haseg Basin in Romania, analyzed in 2017, show Quetzalcoatlus footprints next to small dinosaur remains. The spacing suggests it stalked prey on foot, using its height advantage to spot movement in tall vegetation. Modern herons and storks use this exact strategy in wetlands, walking slowly, then striking with their beaks when prey moves. But herons stand 4 feet tall and eat fish. Quetzalcoatlus stood 16 feet tall and ate dinosaurs. The killing method was pure efficiency. That 10-foot skull could generate 500 pounds of bite force at the tip of the beak, not crushing power like a crocodile, but concentrated stabbing force like a spear. Prey hit by that strike died from penetrating trauma instantly. No prolonged struggle. No chase required. Just a single downward stab from something towering over its target, then swallowing the carcass whole or in large chunks. And here's what the bone structure reveals about versatility. Quetzalcoatlus could hunt in water like a heron, on open ground like a stork, or in forested areas by folding its wings and stalking between trees. Modern pterosaur research shows wings could fold completely against the body when walking, giving it full mobility on land. It wasn't specialized for one habitat. It dominated every environment where prey existed. Then there's the flight capability that separated Quetzalcoatlus from every other predator in the Cretaceous. Aerodynamic analysis by Michael Habib and Mark Whitten calculated flight performance using wing area, body mass, and bone structure. The findings revealed cruising speed of 56 miles per hour and maximum sprint speed exceeding 67 miles per hour in a dive. That's faster than most cars on residential streets. Injured prey running at ground level had seconds to find cover before something the size of a small airplane struck from above at highway speeds. But here's what makes it worse. Quetzalcoatlus could fly for days without landing. Modern albatrosses hold the record for continuous flight among living animals, up to 10 days, without touching land or water. They weigh 20 pounds with 11-foot wingspans. Quetzalcoatlus weighed 440 to 550 pounds with 40-foot wingspans, but had better wing loading ratios. That means more efficient gliding with less energy expenditure. It could cross entire continents following dinosaur herds, waiting for the sick or injured to fall behind, then landing to feed without competition from landlocked predators. Flight range analysis shows something even more remarkable. Quetzalcoatlus could fly from Texas to Montana over 2,000 miles in less than 48 hours of continuous gliding. Weather systems and air currents during the Late Cretaceous created perfect conditions for soaring flight across North America. It didn't need to flap constantly like modern birds. It just rode updrafts and wind currents like modern sailplanes, adjusting wing angles to maintain altitude without burning energy. And then there's the actual nightmare scenario for ground-based prey. Quetzalcoatlus possessed binocular vision, eyes positioned for depth perception needed to judge striking distance accurately. That's predator anatomy, not scavenger anatomy. Scavengers, like vultures, have eyes on the sides of their heads for wide-angle surveillance. Predators, like eagles, have forward-facing eyes for precise targeting. Quetzalcoatlus had forward-facing eyes in a 10-foot skull, giving it depth perception accurate enough to stab moving prey from 16 feet above ground. Even staying motionless offered no safety because it hunted by sight from elevated positions. The reality is even more brutal than solo hunting capability. Fossil sites in Texas show multiple Quetzalcoatlus specimens in the same geological layer, suggesting they congregated in the same areas, possibly competing for hunting territory or gathering at abundant food sources. Modern storks and herons sometimes hunt in loose groups when prey is concentrated in small areas. Several 16-foot-tall pterosaurs stalking the same floodplain would have dominated every available food source. But here's what separates Quetzalcoatlus from other large pterosaurs. Wingspan-to-weight ratio gave it the best gliding efficiency of any pterosaur ever discovered. Smaller pterosaurs like Pteranodon had 20-foot wingspans, but lacked the mass for long-distance gliding in variable winds. Larger experimental designs would collapse under their own weight during launch. Quetzalcoatlus hit the exact optimization point, maximum wingspan, that could still generate enough lift from a standing takeoff while maintaining structural integrity during flight. Then, a 2021 study proved something paleontologists had debated for 50 years since the first Quetzalcoatlus fossils were discovered. Researchers at the University of Portsmouth, led by Elizabeth Martin Silverstone, used biomechanical modeling to reconstruct how Quetzalcoatlus launched itself into flight. The debate centered on one question: how does a 440-pound animal with a 40-foot wingspan get airborne without a running start or cliff jump? Modern birds can't do it at that size. The largest flying birds today, albatrosses and condors, need running starts or thermal updrafts to become airborne. The findings revealed a four-limb launch system no modern animal uses. Quetzalcoatlus placed its wings on the ground like front legs, crouched on its hind legs, then explosively extended all four limbs simultaneously. This quad launch generated 2.5 times more initial upward force than a bipedal running takeoff. High-speed cameras filming modern bats, the closest living analog, show similar launch mechanics on a much smaller scale. But Quetzalcoatlus perfected it at massive size through hollow bones that reduced weight while maintaining structural strength. The study also revealed wing flexibility that allowed ground locomotion without damage. Pterosaur wings consisted of a thin membrane stretched between an elongated fourth finger and the body. That sounds fragile, but CT scans of fossilized wing bones show internal support structures similar to airplane wings, ribs of bone that prevented tearing while allowing controlled folding. Quetzalcoatlus could walk on its wings without puncturing the membrane, then unfold them for flight in seconds. But the research revealed something even more significant about hunting strategy. Launch capability from flat ground meant ambush hunting was possible. Modern predatory birds that hunt on the ground, secretary birds, terror birds before extinction, can't fly. Birds that hunt from the air, eagles, hawks, can't walk efficiently on the ground. Quetzalcoatlus did both at expert level because its anatomy evolved specifically for terrestrial hunting with aerial escape capability. And then there's what the wing structure revealed about durability. Fossilized wing bones show stress fractures that healed during the animal's lifetime. That means Quetzalcoatlus regularly experienced forces strong enough to crack bones, likely from launching, landing, or striking prey, but its bones could repair themselves. Modern birds with similar injuries never fly again. Quetzalcoatlus healed and continued hunting because its hollow bone structure allowed faster calcium deposition and repair. But the dominance period tells you everything about why Quetzalcoatlus became the apex aerial predator of the Late Cretaceous. Quetzalcoatlus lived from 68 to 66 million years ago, the final 2 million years before the asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs. That's a relatively short existence compared to other successful species. But here's what matters. During those 2 million years, no other flying predator competed with it. Smaller pterosaurs like Pteranodon died out 75 million years ago. Large predatory birds wouldn't evolve for another 60 million years. Quetzalcoatlus ruled the skies completely unopposed, and the fossil record shows exactly why nothing else could fill its niche. The combination of size, flight capability, and terrestrial hunting created an ecological role that only worked at that specific size. Smaller pterosaurs couldn't hunt dinosaurs. They lacked the beak size and leg strength. Larger pterosaurs couldn't launch from flat ground. They'd collapse under their own weight or require unrealistic muscle mass. Quetzalcoatlus hit the maximum theoretical size for a flying animal on Earth. Physics and biology converged at exactly 40 feet of wingspan and 440 pounds of mass. Talk about evolutionary optimization that can't be improved. And then there's what happened to ecosystems after Quetzalcoatlus went extinct. A 2019 study by Nicholas Longridge at the University of Bath analyzed predator diversity before and after the Cretaceous extinction. The results showed no flying predators larger than modern eagles appeared for 60 million years. The largest predatory birds, teratons with 20-foot wingspans, didn't evolve until 5 million years ago and went extinct when humans arrived in North America. Nothing has matched Quetzalcoatlus since it disappeared. Modern ecosystems can't support flying predators that large because atmospheric oxygen levels are lower today, 21% compared to 30% in the Late Cretaceous. Higher oxygen meant more efficient respiration, allowing larger flying animals to exist. Lower oxygen today means modern birds hit size limits around 30 pounds maximum. Anything larger can't generate enough power for sustained flight. But here's the real question. Why didn't Quetzalcoatlus survive the asteroid impact when smaller pterosaurs and many dinosaurs also died? The answer reveals exactly why specialized dominance becomes vulnerability during mass extinction events. The asteroid impact triggered global wildfires, dust clouds blocking sunlight for months, and temperature drops of 50+ degrees Fahrenheit. Animals requiring specific environments, tropical climates, abundant prey, clear skies for soaring, died first. Quetzalcoatlus needed all three to survive. Quetzalcoatlus, 40-foot wingspan carrying 440 pounds of muscle and hollow bone, tall as a giraffe, beak longer than a great white shark, could launch 10 feet into the air from a standing position, hunted dinosaurs on foot, then flew thousands of miles to the next hunting ground. For 2 million years, nothing in late Cretaceous skies competed with it. That's the reality of prehistoric flight. The largest flying predator ever didn't hunt from the air. It hunted on the ground.